Hey y'all, we're going to be working out of the cookbook on page 66. We're going to be making my grandmother's marinara sauce. So in my pot here, I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we are going to need some onion, 1 medium onion. And we're going to put in our pot. And 1/3 of a cup of diced celery. We're going to put that in here. And we are going to cook this in the olive oil until it is softened. And let's bring you closer so you can see. Alright. So if you need a cookbook, I will put the link above this post and below, and it tells you ways that you can order that if you want to get yourself a copy. So this should take about 5 to 6 minutes. Alright, y'all. So now that these are softened, if you have whole minced garlic, you can use that, but I just got the jar. So you need 5 cloves, so a teaspoon is about a clove. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to just cook this for another 3 minutes. Y'all, the next thing we're going to do is add 1 6-ounce of tomato paste. And we're going to get this stirred around in with our onions and our celery. Okay, and then we're going to fill this up with water, and we're going to put that in there as well. But let's get this stirred in before we add in our water. My little can filled with water, and we're going to pour that in there and stir that around. Now we're going to need 2 cans of diced tomatoes with the basil, garlic, and oregano, so it's like the Italian style. You're going to need 2 14.5 ounces. We're going to throw those in there. Now we're going to need a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. And we're going to throw that in there. Now we need to fill this up with water as well. There you go. So I filled that with water. We're going to dump that in. So again, the 28 ounces plus 1 28-ounce can of water. The next thing we're going to need is some tomato sauce. And you're going to need 2 8-ounce. And here's my little 8 ounces of tomato sauce. So we're going to need 2 of those. And start adding some seasonings in here. We're going to need 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay. We're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And you always want to take that oregano and squish it in your hand, and you want to release the oils in your oregano. Okay. The next thing we're going to need is 1 teaspoon of salt. This is a really good recipe that if you want to go ahead and can this, it's really great. So you always have it on hand. A 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Let's see, we need some parsley. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of parsley. Then we need a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary. And then we need a 1/4 teaspoon of basil. Alright. Now what we normally do is take 2 fresh basil leaves and throw them in here. And we also take 1 stem of oregano and throw in here. I do not have that, so the oregano is just going to have to be left out, but I do have this basil stir-in paste, which is like fresh basil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of this, and that'll be pretty much just like having the fresh. And if you want to go ahead, you can add another 1/4 teaspoon of oregano just to go for the fresh oregano, but you don't have to. So we're going to just let this come together, and I'm going to put some sausages in here and let them cook with the sauce. You do not have to. That's completely up to you. Sometimes we would put meatballs in here, but I'm going to put some Italian sausages in here. Yeah, so what I normally do is I'm going to just take 2 packages of mild Italian sausage, and I'm going to stick it down in my sauce, and we're going to just let this cook for a few hours until the sausage is done and all the flavors come together. So I'm going to get my other packet of sausage in here, and we're going to let this cook maybe about 4 hours. Again, you can do it as long or short, but the longer that you cook it, the better the flavors are. But you want to make sure that if you're putting your sausage in, you don't have to, but it gives it flavor. You can add a little bit of fennel if you do not want the sausages in there, and it'll give a little bit of that sausage taste. Again, you do not have to put the sausage in here, but you just want to make sure that your sausage is done completely. And meatballs. If you're making your meatballs and you want to put them in your sauce, you can go ahead and make them. You can throw them in your oven and broil them for a little bit, just so they hold their shape, and then put them in there. Or you can do what my grandmother would do, patty them up raw and drop them in the sauce and let them cook all day for 4 or 5 hours with the sauce, and it becomes really good flavor too. You can also put a pork chop or something else in there too if you want to do that. But I will see you back here in a few hours once our sauce is all done. Alright, y'all, so it's been simmering for about 4 hours. You can do a little bit longer if you do it early in the morning. It will give it more time for all the flavors to come together. You do want to leave the lid on for the first hour and a half, and then take the lid off to let some of the moisture out of your sauce. But give this a try. If anybody has any comments, questions, or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. The link for the cookbook will be above and below this post, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.